Hello, good morning, good afternoon, good evening, wherever you are getting this from. I just want to welcome you to my channel. My name is Martha. Once again, I just wanted to introduce myself, and then I also wanted to apologize for having had I took some time off. Yeah, so I'm back now. I just wanted to get that out of the way. So today I wanted to talk about the pros and the cons for being a nurse in the US versus being a nurse in the UK. Yeah, so I'm going to talk about that. Yeah, so whatever information that I'm sharing right now is not pretty much, it's subject to change, and it might vary from one person to the other, but this is just information that I got to research and I got to find, and I thought probably I should share. Yeah, so I'm a nurse, of course, a registered nurse from Zambia, and then I transitioned to being a registered nurse in the US, and I've been here 4 years and some months. I'll be turning 5 years in October this year. Yeah, so I wanted to emphasize on the point that I have experience about nursing in the US. I don't have much experience about nursing in the UK, but I'm going to share information based on the research that I did. Yeah, between the two, the pros and cons, and like I said earlier on, this might vary from person to person. Yeah, so like my channel, subscribe so that this content can be I can continue creating the content for you guys. Yeah, so this channel has been here for about 3 years. I know I haven't really been consistent with posting videos, and I thought that probably in 2023 we should do better and probably try and grow this channel. This information is pretty much free of charge. The only way you'd support me is by subscribing. The only way you'd support me is by sharing this information with our fellow nurses, those who need the information. Yeah, so subscribe, share, like, and all that. So let's get into the real business why we are here today. Yeah, so the real reason why we're here today is to talk about the cons, the pros about being a nurse in the US versus being a nurse in the UK. We'll start with the pros for nurses in the UK, of course. We're going to talk about the universal healthcare system. All right. The UK has a universal healthcare system, that's the NHS, that provides, of course, free healthcare to all UK residents. This means that the nurses in the UK have, a larger pool of potential, patients to work with, and patients do not have to worry about, paying their care. That's one of the advantage. And then also they have generous paid time off. Nurses in the UK are entitled to a minimum of about 28 days of paid annual leave per year, and then plus, bank holidays. Some employers offer additional time off, which can provide a better work-life balance for the nurses, which we all need. You don't want to get burnt out, and then the other one is that job security. The UK has, a shortage of nurses, which means that job security is generally good for qualified nurses. Additionally, the NHS is a large employer and can provide stability for nurses who choose to work in this industry. Those are some of the advantages of working in the UK as a nurse. And some of the cons for nurses in the UK, I wanted to mention that their salaries are, of course, lower than the US. Nurses in the UK typically earn less than their counterparts here in the United States. This can make it more difficult for nurses to make ends meet, especially in high-cost areas, meaning that you have to do a lot of overtime to compensate for that, and that work-life balance is actually not there anymore. You don't want to be burnt out. And then limited opportunities for advancement. The structure of the NHS, of course, can make it difficult for nurses to advance their careers. For example, there may be limited opportunities for promotion or pretty much specialization compared to the United States. And then also high workload. Nurses in the UK may be required to work long hours, or have a high workload due to staffing shortages. This can lead to burnout and job dissatisfaction. We know where that leads to. A lot of people get to quit and all that. So those are some of the cons for nurses in the UK. Then we just, for nurses here in the United States, of course, the pros, we want to talk about, higher salaries. That's no lie. Nurses in the US typically earn more than nurses in the UK. That's a fact. And then this can provide more financial stability and ability to save for retirement or other goals. Yeah, and you get to travel, you get to do all that. And then also, I love the flexibility in career paths. There's so much that you can do here with with your career. Nurses in the US have more flexibility in the career paths, with more opportunities for specialization, for advancement. There's just a lot that you can do, pretty much. Yeah, and then also workforce shortages can lead to better job opportunities. There's a shortage of nurses in many areas of the US. This is no lie, this is true, it's everywhere. And then which can lead to better job opportunities and demand for nurses. So you're looking at flexibility, you're looking at higher salaries, you're looking at workforce shortages, which can actually work either way, because being burnt out is pretty much the same everywhere. When you have shortage, of course you're going to have more work because you don't have the people to do exactly. So shortage is pretty much in both countries. The cons for nurses in the US: healthcare costs. I can assure you, healthcare here is expensive. Yeah, it will cost you a lot for healthcare. Healthcare in the US is expensive, and many patients may not have insurance coverage. This will make it difficult for nurses to provide care to the patients who need it, but they will receive it. Yeah. And then limited time off. I was pregnant. I was doing PRN at the time. I didn't have days, so I didn't even qualify for the FMLA. So this was a personal decision. I decided to just, quit a little bit so that I could, stay home, deliver, and then take care of my baby for at least the first few months while they're still fragile, and then I'll head back into the industry whenever I'm ready. So right now I'm still home. Yeah, my baby's about 3 months. Yeah, so limited paid time off. You can stay home as many weeks as you want, but you won't be paid. So this also is something that pretty much people should actually look into. Yeah, nurses in the US here may not have as much paid time off as their counterparts in the UK. And then this can make it really difficult to achieve work-life balance. High levels of stress. I can assure you that there are high levels of stress here in the United States. And the nurses here in the States may experience high levels of stress due to the demands of the job, the healthcare system. And then this can lead to burnout and also job dissatisfaction. It's just a vicious cycle at the end of the day. Yeah, and then the other advantage I would say for the United States is that when you come in, if you come in the right way, of course, either by agency or self-sponsorship, you're going to be given what they call an immigrant visa, and that immigrant visa is going to guarantee you a green card, not just for you, but if you're married, for your spouse, and if you have children, even for your children as well. So for me, I think that's a plus. And then that green card is valid for 10 years, which is pretty much renewable. You can renew it after 10 years. And then after your 5 years stay, like the way I'm going to clock 5 years in October, I can actually apply for citizenship. Okay, and I qualify for citizenship after that. And then depending on whether or not my record is clean, everything else has been good, I've been doing whatever I need to do the right way, I'm going to qualify to apply for citizenship. And most times people get it. Yeah, and then for nurses in the UK, I know that when you go in, you are just granted of course, a work visa. And then probably after that you start processing now your immigrant visa and all that. So I just wanted to bring that to light. So those are some of the pros and the cons. I wanted to just put it out there and also encourage people to, especially my African nurses. Either way, whether you land in the UK or you land in the US, I would say that the pros and the cons are far much better than where you are right now. Yeah, unless you have a very, very good job, getting paid in dollars and all that, I would say you can stay. But if you are struggling, if it's hand to mouth, that you are doing the way we were struggling, I would say that this is the best opportunity for you, and I would advise you to just take it up and just start the process. Yeah, when you scroll through my page, you're going to get the information, some of the agencies that are actually getting nurses to the United States. And then I can also do another one on, some of the agencies that recruit for UK. I can do that as well. Yeah, but this is this particular video was basically for, the pros and the cons, the advantages and disadvantages of living in the UK as a nurse and here in the US. So those are some of the things that I wanted to just highlight, just in case you were wondering, and then at least you can make an informed decision. The other thing that I would probably put out there is that the process for migrating to the UK is pretty easy and it's fast. Within a year, you'll be there or less, most likely, provided you pass your IELTS, you pass your CBT. When you get there, you get to do your OSCE. I know that the process is pretty easy and it's straightforward. And then the process for the US is a little bit more complicated and it takes a bit longer. I took about 2 years. It can be less, maybe a year plus for some people, but I also know that it can be longer than 2 years. Yeah, depending on how everything is being done, everything is being processed. So all that you can just put that at the back of your head as you start the process. Yeah, but then again, I would say the perks for being here in the US are pretty much, the advantages are pretty more than working in the UK, depending on what really works for you. You can just, at least you can make a decision based on, the information that is out there. You can pretty much do some more research and, get it done. Thank you so much for your time. Like I said, like the channel, share and do what you gotta do to just support your sister out here. I'm just here trying to help my people from back home on how to migrate. Thank you so much for your time.